I love UniFi Access, and it's a great piece of kit, especially for when you're setting up your doors, access control. It's really easy.
It's really simple to use.
However, with my setup that I'm looking to do, I have one problem. When you get it set up, you need one keypad for one door. And what I have is 1, 2, and 3 a side gate. Then I want to make sure that I can control with a single keypad. Now, let me start with a disclaimer that this isn't how UniFi Access is supposed to be used. This is just a demonstration for me showing you how it is. So we'll start by going through how it's set up with a single door, and then I'll move and show you how I've set it up with multiple doors. Let's go over what the plan is going to be, and we'll start at the back right here with the gate. And we have a single gate here, which is controlled by a traditional latch, and I have a spare lock, electric lock sitting around. So we're going to get it installed right here with a keypad at the front. On the front side right here, we'll have a keypad, which we can type in a code and then gain access into here. But where the second part comes in is I want to be able to control my garage doors also with that as well. And also, finally, bonus footage, I'm going to install an LPR probably somewhere up here. And what that will do is it will go down the driveway that you can see just here, and it's going to read the license plates as it comes in and open the garage door. Obviously, the hardest part is getting all the groundwork in. So I've actually already run some piping underground, and I've got a piece of string ready for me to feed my cable through either side, and we're going to go through here into the garage wall. And then we need to ask, well, what's going to house everything, all the UniFi Access equipment? We have this little thing right here, which is the UniFi Junction box. So let's open this up to start with and see how we're going to mount everything inside here. We have the hardware kit, which you would expect in all UniFi boxes. We have a level, which we can mount this up with. And then finally, we have the junction box itself. Let's take a closer look at the junction box itself. So it's quite well sturdily built, definitely not going to go anywhere, and nobody's going to get into it very easily. There's a key that comes inside the box, but that flips up, and then we push this around and we can open this up. You can see we have the nice seal around here, we have the grounding, and we have this little plate on top just here, so we can hide some cables behind, but everything else is kind of placed on top of here. So let me show you what we're actually going to be putting. At the time of this recording, I've not quite decided whether I'm going to put this Flex 2.58 PoE in here or use the USW Ultra. I haven't decided yet. And then to run all three of our doors, I'm going to put one door hub here, and I'm going to put one gate hub here. So you can see this one's the gate, where it says the gate and the side door, and then we have the normal door one. So we're going to run one garage door of this, and then we're going to run the side gate of this right here. So I've placed my switch down at the bottom here, and then we've put in our 2 DIN rails at the top. Now this is probably a little bit more than actually you would probably want to put in here, but for my scenario it does fit, and we'll get our 2 hubs in here, and then we'll have a switch down here. So let's get it installed just up there. It's just somewhere around there. Let's get that installed, and then we can put this on the wall. Before we get it all connected, I will just get it all set up down before I start cabling it all up. Last thing you want to do is get it all cabled up there and then realize you have an issue. So we'll go through it manually before we get it all put up at the top. I'm going to get this mounted up here at the moment, and a lot of you are probably going to be saying, well, why don't you get it mounted further down? Why don't you do this, this, this? There's a couple of reasons. One, I want to use the storage below to make sure it's not in the way, and 2, it's up and out the way, so it's not very easily accessible. Once all the cables are run to this, we shouldn't really need to do too much else. So I'm trying to hit the mortar lines in here just because it's easier to drill in. Mortar, there's only one going into the brick. Also, the other reason is the access reader is going to be directly below it. Wires are going to go across this way as well, so it just makes life a little bit easier. And then I'm going to run a level across it just to make sure that it is definitely, there we go, and hopefully that looks about right. So this definitely is a bit of a chunky one. We need a 10mm drill bit, and then we're going to go into the wall. We don't want to go all the way through. There we go, that's gone in. The second one in. So we have the chance now to get it lined up nicely. So we're going to get that done right now. And I think we should be able to get the drill bit straight through here. So we're going to do a quick drill bit through here, and then let's get the rest of this all set up. There we go, the top done. And there we go, nicely installed. We have this installed here. Yes, I need to put one more screw in here just to get this last bit in. I just need to get the actual right drill bit for it. And I don't know if you can see that, but we're on the mark for the bubble. So nice, good install. Now we have all the cables running. Now we start the fun part. So this is on the other side of the brick wall. We're going to punch through right here. So that's where one keypad is going to be on the other side. And there's going to be one right at the front here as well. If we go around to the side, we have the gate, and we'll have the lock set right here. Now, before you come to me in the comments about what lock I've used, this was spare, it was kicking around. So I decided to get it installed right here. So we're getting to the point where we're just up to here. So I fed my network cable through and I have a 2-core wire here, which is going to go for this lock. This is the whole point of this pipe. So it's going to go down under the ground and then come out the other side, because that's where the cable is going to be. So the reason I rang a piece of string earlier is so literally I can tie this on. So for anybody that's been in this game for a little while knows that this is the best thing you can do to get this cable pulled through. So we're going to quickly do that, and then we're going to finally fix this to the wall. Now I know no doubt someone's going to tell me that to pull another cable through as you're doing this. So what I'm going to do on the other side is I'm actually going to attach this string. It might be a bit more difficult to pull, but it's the same string going back through, and I'm just going to tie this on as well so it goes through. So there we go, that's done. Now if we come this side and we start pulling the cable, hopefully we should start seeing this come through, if I've not knotted it in itself. Nope, there we go. Just to make life a little bit easier, I don't think we need all of this, so I'm going to cut it a little bit short, and hopefully we can see the cable inside. So we are in luck. There we go. So here's the cable on the other side, so that's back through, and we can pull any excess that we might need. I don't think we're going to need anything more than this, so I'm quite happy with this right here. And there we go, like that, the cable is through on the other side. Now it's a case of crimping this cable right here and getting everything fixed to the wall. Now, because the cables aren't run on the other side, I can pull back the slack if I need to. Now we can get everything put back in place. Now we can get the back plate all screwed up. Now we can get the final bit of the back plate screwed up, and that's in like so. Then we can take the rubber grommet, pop that over here, and then we can pop that in there like so. And then there is a warning label on here to say make sure you have the rubber grommet on to make sure you have the best IP rating. And there you go. That is now installed and we're ready to go. Next we're going to put the gate lock on. We have this that we need to fit in the corner right here, and then we will use this as a rough guide as to where this needs to sit. There we go. That's all now empty like so. For the gate lock, I am just using a temporary junction box for the time being, just to make it a bit tight. I'm run out of clips that I need for here, so I'm going to go and get them at another point. But I'm just going to pop them in here for now, just to keep them a little bit tight, and then I'm going to use Wago clips to get them connected. As I said, not the neatest work on this side, but I need to get the right junction box so I can get that sealed up nicely there, and then we're not going to have any issues there. So out here we have the lock, we have this. Now we need to go around the front and get the keypad installed. A big thank you to today's sponsor, DIST, a name you can trust in networking since 2002. In fact, they were the first to bring ubiquity to the UK back in 2008, setting a high standard for quality networking gear. DIST makes it easy to find exactly what you need without the hassle, offering a carefully selected range of wireless networking and security products. They offer competitive prices and special pricing for their trade customers. Need help picking the right gear? Their team of experienced networking pros are always on hand to offer help, advice and technical support. And when you order before 4:30 p.m, they've got your back with fast, reliable next day shipping across most of the UK. With a strong focus on customer satisfaction, MS DIST has built a reputation for quality products, quick delivery and top-notch service. Whether you're upgrading your home setup or rolling out a business network, they have got you covered. Check out the pinned comment and the description for your latest promo code for MS DIST. Check them out today and see why so many people trust MS DIST for their networking needs. So let's talk about how we're going to wire up one door. So we have our access reader just here so we can pop the power. We're going into the top port just here, and then we're plugging the first one in this side. And then we're more interested in a couple of them up here and then one down here. So in terms of this one right here, so we have a 12-volt opener which requires power. If it doesn't need any power, you can use this one, but if it does, you need to use this one. And for the two readers we have set up, we have two Ethernet cables, so we go into 1 and we go into 2. There you go. So that's gone into 1 and 2, so those readers are now going to power up. So it's just booting up, so it's getting there. And for the 12 volt, we're going to go into normally open and common. So black is your common cable and normally open is your red cable. So if we take a look here, you can see the keypad. The keypad is now illuminated, so that's set up right there. And we have the access reader as well, which is also set up. In terms of the lock, you can see it's shut, so when it goes in, it's going to shut nicely. And then we're going to trigger it to open it up as and when we need. If you're not entirely sure which way round it goes, if you popped it into the opposite one, so normally closed, and if we take a look at the device itself, you can see that that is open, it's not closed. Right, ignore the other two doors for now, we'll come back to those shortly. So we have a left door entry and left door exit. So we have the left door, which we can click unlock. Not sure if you heard that, but that unlocked the door right there. We have the left door entry where we can go to settings and we can have the greetings on here, and obviously you create your users. If you want a tutorial on how to get access set up from start to finish, let me know and I'll put something together. And then we have the exit. So what we're doing on the exit, we just want a hand wave. So if we go across right now, so you type in your code, you press the tick, and you can see that pop up just there. So it goes away when it's not in use. You press the button and then this would open. And then if you wanted to exit, it's a wave to exit. So just to show you how that works, so we have this right here, we wave, and you probably heard that. There you go, you can see that's open, and then it should close up, there you go, and just like that. So that is how we got a single door working. Now it gets a little bit more interesting because we have two garage doors and we have the side gate, which is where this second reader comes in right here. So we can now power up the second reader. So same like the last one, we're gonna power this up. I have two cables here that have come from my garage door, which you saw me run a little bit earlier. Okay, now we're gonna make this a little bit different. So we're gonna put our side gate. So we have two different types of reader. We have the access hub and we have the gate hub. I'm gonna move the side gate into the gate hub. So the one on the right hand side is a gate hub and the one on the left hand side is the access hub. So the gate hub, you can see there's a side door lock 12 volt. We're gonna go into there. So same again, common, black for common, and then normally closed. So we go into normally open. Okay, that's gone into there. To get the garage door side connected, you're gonna have to check with your manufacturer, but we can see these right here, two pins right here, which go into the UniFi access box, and that basically has your open and close. And then we have one garage door. I'm not sure which is which, so we're going to test this out just right now. When you have it set up, you should be able to press the two together and that will open and close the door depending on what you press. So let's put that into, so this is the right door, so we're going to go into the access hub. This time we're going to go into the gate operator. So now obviously this is generally where you have two gates open, but we're going to be utilizing this for the garage door. I'll say this again, as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is not how UniFi Access is supposed to be used. It's one gate, one side door, and then one door per device. This is just something I set up. Again, we go into normally open. So you can probably hear the gate because I put it in the wrong one. So you can probably hear the garage door closing, and then we have the other door. So this side doesn't require any power. So again, we'll go into common and we'll go into normally open. And that's now the left door of the garage. So now what we're going to do with the readers, we're actually going to move them across to the side. We're going to move them across to the gate hub. So we're going to pop those in, 1 and 2, and they can go in just there. So we'll let them power back up. So hopefully the wiring has made sense to you. Now we need to go to the configuration and take a look there. So we have the 3 doors now connected, and now we look at the brains behind the operation. So UniFi Access isn't capable of doing one keypad to multiple doors. And again, I'll mention it, this is not how it's supposed to be designed. This is just something that's working for my setup. So the first thing you want to do is create the users that you require. So I've created 3 brand new accounts in here. They don't need to be admin accounts. They don't need to be anything. I've just called it the gate, left and right. And they're the 3 individual codes that are going to control all 3 doors. So what we need to do for each of these accounts is give them a unique PIN. So all three of them are different because they're each going to trigger a different door. These are the access hubs, and you can rename them to make sure they make sense to you. So I know this is my left garage door, my right garage door, plus the side gate. So depending on how you have that set up, we have the side door entry. So we know that this is paired to the side door, and so is the exit button. So the exit button is also paired to the side door. So what the exit button does is we just have mobile unlock and hand wave. So when I'm outside, I can just wave my hand and exit the gate if that's what I need to do. So that's quite easy and simple, straightforward. That's standard in UniFi Access. But this side door entry is the one that's going to be the key. If I show you this web link on GitHub, which is UniFi Access custom integration for Home Assistant, which is perfect for what we need. So it controls all these different devices. It shows you how to set it up, and it shows you some of the stuff within here as well. And if you need to install it manually, that's also there as well. So we know it supports the access hub and it supports the gate hub. So that's good enough for me. They're the two that we need to see. So you can add in this integration into Home Assistant. If you want to know how to do that, you can do a quick Google and that will tell you how to do that. But once you've done that, you go to add integration, you can type in UniFi Access, and you can see we have this here. We type in the host IP, which would what it would be, and then we create an API token. To create the API token, you go back to UniFi Access, go to the control plane, and then we can create a UniFi Access API. And that's the key right here. Just keep in mind, it does show you it once and you won't be able to see that again. So make sure you write it down, as you will not be able to see it again. So if I click on here, I can't actually do anything with it because I should already have that API key. Once you've copied the API key, you can type that in there and click submit. And then I'll show you within here, UniFi Access, we have 4 devices and 32 entities. So the 4 devices in here, we have all the doors. We have garage left, garage right, and side gate. Now, make sure you keep a note of these names because you're going to need them, and I'll tell you in just a second why. So we have our 3 gates there, which is quite simple. And then we're going to make some automation. So let's go to settings, automation scenes, and I've got something called UA3 doors. So we're going to do this when a webhook payload has been received, and you can give it an ID. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to call it. We then are going to skip and if, and then we're going to add these right here. You've typed in a code, it triggers this. Is it this one, or this one? And then according to whichever one it is, it's going to trigger that door. So let's have a look. This is option 1. So if the template render equals to true, so trigger, and I'll pop this all down in the comments below so you can go and copy and paste this if you want. So we're going to say if the side door is triggered and the actor name is left, and that's again, so the side door is the actual side door of where the keypad is, and then the trigger is the left. So left is the name of the user. So if it's left, unlock the garage left door. And then we go to the next one and we open that up, and it says again, if the side door is triggered and it's right, then unlock the right garage door. And you can just choose your device by clicking choose device, and that's it, and you can perform the unlock. And then the third one is, you guessed it, the side door, and if the user is gate, then open the side gate. So there you go. That's what it says there, side gate right there. And it's those 3 conditions are exactly what you need to get all 3 doors individually opening. So there is something at the bottom that I added just to make sure it is working. So if there's no match to the door, you can write an error into the log. Once you've created this trigger, you're going to need to register the webhook. So the way you do that, I've got a couple of commands. Again, I'll pop this down in the description below. The first thing you need to do is grab the ID. So you can run this command right here. You just need to fill in your console IP and your HA IP and your webhook ID. Then what it's going to do down here is going to generate an ID for you, which is right here. And then you just need to rerun this command with your ID inputted in it. Once you've done that, that's then registered for you, and it's going to give a listen out for it to make sure that it picks up when something happens. Before you actually get this installed into practice, I probably would recommend putting it on a bench, because that's what I did. I got it set up, make sure it's tested and working exactly how you want it to be. Then we went outside and installed it. So now comes the moment of truth. So let's go outside and give it a test and see how it works. Here we are. Here's the keypad. So we can press this and we have the buttons on here. So let's try the gate first. So that's the code. And there you go. You can see the gate opens. And if we go in from the inside, we can shut the gate, and then we come up to the right here. We wave that. The lock just got a bit jammed there, but that seems to be working. The concept is there. And then we can try the garage doors. So if we type in the code, and yes, I will be changing the code. There you go. So that's there. And then if we do the second one, there you go. That's the second door opening. So really that easy and simple. While that's doing that, if I type in the code again, we'll see that door over there is shutting now. There you go. So let's try that one again. There we go. You can see that's the door coming down there and shutting. So the next part is, as I mentioned at the start, we're going to get the AI LPR camera installed, and we want it to see down the driveway to be able to pick up a license plate when it drives in. So one thing is for recommendation is hold the camera up. Yes, it is a bit of a chunky one, but hold the camera up to where you want it and make sure it has the right direction that you want it in. So if I show you this camera right here, if we pop this up, you can see it's got its night vision on at the moment. There we go, switch back to color. But there's a tree on the right hand side, but that doesn't really obstruct us from looking down the driveway. So we're happy to get this installed right here. One thing I will add is I haven't fully decided if I'm going to be permanently keeping this on, because I'm going to have a camera that's going to be situated up here, which will do the license plate reading for me as well. I'm going to do this as a demo just to show you how this part of it would work. So we have this part in. Let's get the AI LPR set up. I think that's the kind of angle we're going to need. So let's tighten this up. Final piece of the puzzle. Let's get this in. Make sure your camera is water sealed properly. Let's pop this in. And we can put the seal in like so. And there we go. We can see the light popping up on here. So let's see what this looks like and how to get it configured. The camera is now mounted, and you need to make 2 different triggers to make this happen. First things first is you need to go to the camera. The LPR camera, we don't need to add in any line crossings, but on the main driveway camera, I've added 2 crossings. We have one just up here, which is the driveway coming in, and then we have the one the other way, which is the driveway going out. So that way we have the entry covered in terms of a trigger, and we have the outgoing triggered. So we go back to Alarm Manager. When we're doing a driveway in, and I'll show you exactly what I've done, we're doing an activity with a line crossing is what we want. The ID is a specific vehicle, which we have. We're going to be testing the specific vehicle because it's a known one, and we have the license plate for it, so that's easy enough. And then we have the entry driveway. So this is when the car enters the drive, it triggers, and then it unlocks the door. So that makes sense. You've chosen the activity and the ID, you've got the scope, and then you've got the action. I've also got it to notify myself just so I know that that trigger is actually happening. So with the exit, it's fairly similar. We have the driveway exit, so we have the license plate, so we have the specific vehicle that we specified, we have the activity of the line crossing, and again, this time we select the exit driveway, and that does exactly what we need it to do. And then this time we unlock the door, which is the left door we want to unlock, and then we can notify myself. So from this side of things, it makes it a lot easier in terms of the trigger. Now you can make a multiple trigger, so whether it will go in or out, and just make a single alarm if that's what you want, but I want to keep these as 2 separate events because I plan to do some other bits with this later on. So we have this set up now inside UniFi Protect. So we have the car selected, we have the scope, and then we have the triggers. So the trigger is the door. So you can see my garage door is open at the moment. We're going to drive out. Let's see if the door closes, and then we're going to have a quick drive around. We're going to come back, and then we're going to reverse in and see if the garage door opens. So we have the car coming out now. Let's drive and see what happens. And there we go, we can see the garage door closing. And just like that, you see the car reversing onto the drive and the garage door opening. So the triggers seem to be doing the job that they need to do. And that to me is a perfect solution, because I can drive out, it closes the garage door, I can drive back in and it opens it up for me. And then for the final close, I can either close it via the app, or I can use a push button, whatever's there, whatever's going to be easiest for me. Or perhaps I can develop it a little bit further to when I go to the door, if it recognizes my face going inside, it closes the door automatically. So the automation there can continue and we can build on this. But if you have any other solutions, let me know down in the comments below. Now we're getting to a point where everything is now set up, it's working, we got it exactly what we want. Now we need to pop it straight into here. So we're going to put in the 2 access readers, and then we're going to put in the switch, and then we're going to get it all connected up. So we've put our final power cable in. Not the cleanest under here, I need to do a bit of tidying down here and get all these cables tidied up along here. But the main general concept is we're off the ground and we're in the box. So we can close that off. give that a shot, and there we go. We can lock this up, and that is now secure. So that's it then. Everything is now set up and ready as we expect it to be. It's all cabled away. Yes, it's not the neatest of cablings, but in terms of getting this video out as quick as possible, I did just put the cables in for now, which I will then go back and tidy up. And if you don't believe me, I'll post a picture down on my YouTube later on once I get it all done. So hit the subscribe button and you'll see that when it pops up. Now, there's probably 100 different ways that have probably already gone through your head, something I've done wrong, something I've done right, something that worked quite well, but I want to know your feedback down in the comments. Would you do the same sort of setup? What would you change within this setup, and how would you add in this setup? I know for sure I'm already going to get one that will say, well, I'll just use Home Assistant to do the trigger and the action at the same time. But my idea was to demonstrate what you can do within UniFi Protect. But that being said, I'm always open to improving this and making it more robust. Again, let me know down in the comments. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you. I know this is a bit of a longer video, so thank you for sticking around. The links are down in the description below of the products I have used. For now, this is Inside Wire, and I'll see you in the next one.